people sure know how to drink. I came to the party, I laughed at the jokes you made. I wish that I hadn't, 'cause now the joke's on me. I didn't come here just so I could watch you make a mess. I didn't come here to ugly cry in my favorite dress. So what the hell were you thinking then when you kissed your lips? Now I'm kinda glad you did, 'cause now you adore me, adore me. Go ahead now.
Oh my goodness, what a day. Make sure everything is good. Yes, okay, everything is good, just making sure. Woo! Hi, how you doing? How you be? Top to the AB in gaming news. Diablo 4 beta is actually getting ready to launch here towards the end of the week. I think it's around May 15th, as well as there are a few new trailers, one for a game called Metal Mutation, and another one is called Path of Titans right after this. Hi, I'm Anthony, and if you are new here, consider subscribing. We actually troubleshoot and help people with their technical issues and PC gaming issues, and subscribing will help us grow the channel and help more people. Thanks. Forum, how you doing? How you be? Top to the AB. Sorry for the delay. I just rebooted my Wi-Fi network because apparently it did not want to work. I just got back. So those of you who aren't aware, like last week, I had I traveled to Florida from Texas, which is like a 16-hour drive. I was gonna fly, but I was trying to save some money, and it wasn't the best idea. I don't know if I'll ever do it again, because every time that you, like, 16 hours is basically means you lose a day, right? Because if you drive for 16 hours, you have to sleep for at least, you know, like 4 or 5 or so. And I slept for 8, one of them, and then the other one I slept for like 5, and then I got there and I fell asleep. So I lost 2 days in doing that, you know. So I wanted to do a stream, but I didn't have the right display to micro HDMI as well as HDMI to mini HDMI in order to hook up to my 2 monitors for it to actually be a Wi-Fi setup. So for those of you who aren't aware, my Wi-Fi setup is actually, I'm not my Wi-Fi, but my travel setup is actually this guy right here, which is our Windows 11 device, our Windows 11 lab device that has the RTX 3090. That actually is in an A4SFX. Yeah, A4SFX, the smaller version chassis. And I actually have a kind of like a carrying case to carry it with it. And you can also fit the keyboard as well as any other peripherals that you have. And so this is the guy that I was using. However, I couldn't use any of the monitors that I currently have because I literally did not have the cables for them. And where I was, there were no computer stores. So I didn't get a chance to do that. And I do apologize. But I am back, kinda. We do have a show. There are topics. There are people with questions. There are people that we can help. I will get to them in a bit. But first, there are a few things that I do want to discuss. Oh goodness, and I don't have it with me, but I do want to talk about it. So here's what we'll do. We'll do it this way, and let's just go ahead and go here. Just type in INEO 2. All right, let's just go here and let's go to the website so everybody knows what I'm talking about when I talk about it. All right, so this guy here. Oh, that's not a good picture. Why would they have that as the main picture? That's not even a good picture. And I can't even, okay, here we go. Can I click on the image? There, no, I can't. You don't like being clicked on? Is that what's happening here? I don't get this. But, okay, fine. Wow, INEO, you need to fix your website. That is terrible. I'm just trying to give you props. Let me give you props. Okay, the INEO 2. This isn't the INEO 2. Good God, man. What is going on with today, man? Why is everything breaking? Okay, here we go. All right, so the INEO 2 was probably the most useful device you could ever use for a guy that is traveling in his car. Because here's the thing, okay? At every stop, if you're tired and you are fatigued from driving, you can literally just pop this in, play some games until you fall asleep, okay? The only thing that is problem really is the battery life, right? Because the battery life isn't great. It's like an hour and a half, depending on how much brightness you have turned up and how much wattage you're using. If you have it at 22 watts, it really only lasts about maybe an hour and 30 minutes, somewhere around that area. So it's not the greatest when it comes to battery life, but you know, there's ways around that. You give it a juice pack and everything is hunky-dory until it drains it. So I mean, there's things that you can do, right? But it's so comfortable, especially when it comes to like playing games like Genshin Impact. I can literally just sit there, connect it to my phone, and play Genshin Impact in my car, laying down after I get finished getting gas and I'm too fatigued to drive. You see what I'm saying? And kind of put myself to sleep. And then when I got to my hotel room or my resort stay, I essentially was able to just sit there in my bed playing this, and it was more comfortable than sitting in a couch or a chair playing on my computer. So it's so useful when you do a lot of traveling. And that's kind of where it's starting to really find its niche with me, because check this out. Just picture this scenario, right? Okay. You're sitting on your bed, okay? Think of a sport that you like. Mine is basketball, all right? I am essentially listening to the basketball game, okay? Got Spotify on, playing music with Spotify, okay? So I have Spotify going, plus the basketball game. And when the basketball game goes to a commercial break, I literally swap to a video game and play it until I hear in my headset the game starting back up, and then going back to the game, and then, or going back to the basketball game, and then going back to the video game, and then the basketball game and the video game while listening to Spotify at the same time. Just let that sink in. Okay, no Apple, no iOS device can do that. iOS doesn't even allow you to do that, because iOS only allows you to have one musical input at one point in time. You can swap between them, but you can't have more than one playing at the same time. To be able to do that and play games while laying in your bed, chilling with some headphones on and watching a basketball game, and you're sitting here playing video games while on a commercial break, like I'm literally sitting in the bed chilling like this, and with the console in my hand, just chilling. I mean, it is probably one of the most relaxing things that you can do, and I definitely appreciate it. It's probably, of all the devices that I've had, and I've had a lot of troubleshooting and games and peripherals and consoles, it kind of puts a lot of my desktops to shame because of how portable it is and the ways that you can use it. Like for example, I took it to like a studio movie grill, and while I'm waiting on my movie, I'm sitting here playing, a video game. I'm playing Call of Duty while sitting in a reclined seat at a movie theater waiting for my movie to start. That's the kind of things that you can use it for, where it becomes super, super useful, whether it's the Aya Neo, the ROG Ally, or well, maybe not the Steam Deck, because it's too big. But some of these devices that are really, really small and portable, those are the kind of situations you find yourself in. Or maybe you're sitting outside while your girlfriend goes shopping, or she's talking, or he's talking, whatever your preference there, and you want to just drown it out. Hey, that's exactly what it's for. It's like those in-between moments where you're just wasting time. You can be listening to a podcast on YouTube. You can be playing a game. You can be playing a basketball game in the background. You can have a football game in the background while playing football. Let that sink in. You're playing football on commercial break, and you're watching the football game whenever it comes back from commercial break. Those are the situations where this guy shines, and any other device of that ilk. And I don't know if I can ever be separated from it just because of how useful it is. It almost made me wonder why I even had a graphics card with me. I'm sitting here rolling with an RTX 3090 when I travel, and I still couldn't find a reason to use it for video games. I'd rather use this guy, because I would rather sit there and lay on my bed and play video games than sit on the couch, or sit in a chair and play video games, because it's more comfortable that way for me. So just a shout out to IDL2, as well as any of the other portable peripherals that people like to use these days. It is extremely useful, particularly whenever it can run multiple devices and multiple setups at once. Like if we can do YouTube or Twitch or Sling or Hulu or Netflix plus a video game, that's where it really starts to shine, and it kind of becomes great for me. So just a shout out there. That was probably the most entertaining thing I've ever had. And literally, I just had it. Oh, hold on. Let me go get it. Hold on. I'll just get it. I'll show you what I'm doing. Okay, 1 second. Be right back. Okay. Ow! Pinch my finger. That really hurt. Okay. All right, so check this out. So this is how I have it set up, right? Let me make sure there's nothing there. All right, bet. So, y'all can't see that. Alrighty. So, there we go. So, over here, if I actually set this up, so my lens would actually sit right over here. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't hear that. My lens would sit over here. This would be where the camera is, the B camera that you're actually seeing me on. I had to pull that out so we can actually make this stream. And here is the Aya Neo. It just has a corner in my backpack. So if I pull it out, make sure I don't drop all these cables that are near me. Okay. And of course I drop it on the ground. Okay, this is in my way. Okay, I'm back. All right, so the Aya Neo actually goes in my Nintendo Switch case. There's a few reasons why I haven't actually bought a new case for it. But one is that whenever you open it up, right, it fits inside of the case. So just showing you guys like that. Okay, but the second part is if you look, put that lip down there. You see that? You see how that little air pocket right there? So essentially it allows for cool air to actually still get into the device and export. So for example, if I hold it up like this, and like if I hold it like this and I'm watching something on the actual Steam Deck and I'm holding it upwards, it's actually able to take in cool air and export it out the top. That's what I liked about it. So, and on top of that, I can have devices and little things towards inside of it. So for example, right here, you see I have some AirPod Pros that I use to connect to them because it matches. That's exactly how far I took that. But I want to also put a juice pack down there. That way I can always have it charged to a certain extent so I can get a little bit more battery life. But that's essentially the way I had it. I just had it sitting in my backpack for whenever I needed it. And whenever I went to the movie theaters, I just carried it like this. Or when I went to go eat, I carried it like this. So those times where like you go eat by yourself or something like that, or you go to the movies or something, and you're just wasting time, you can just pull this guy out and it saves you so much time of just doing nothing or checking your phone or whatever. I'd rather just listen to like a podcast or something like that than check my phone, you know, nowadays. So shout out to this device. I think it's gonna start changing lives really, really soon. Also, I know how to mute this so you guys can see the side of my computer. Hey, there it is. So now you can actually see the side of my computer there. As you can see right here where you see my, well, I guess you can't really see the cursor there, but essentially I use that screen that's right here for actual chat. So if somebody types in a chat, I can see it from here. That is my RTX 4090, and that is essentially how the computer case is set up. So yeah, and that my primary camera is right here, and then I also have some stuff that's on top of the case, just sitting here chilling. But that's essentially that setup. So I just wanted to show everybody that. Whew, okay, now I'm ready. Still kind of exhausted, so you have to bear with me, but I just wanted to let people know of that kind of stuff because I thought it was really cool. Alrighty, give me 1 second here. Let me get my Wi-Fi back up because it was broken, and I think it's okay now. Hopefully, we'll see. Okay, let me check and make sure everything is good while we wait. Let's see. I think everything is fine. Everything looks fine, at least. Not the greatest, but it looked like it's trying to work. Okay, my computer still broke over here on the left-hand side, but it's okay. We can go without it. So on to trailers here. So what we'll do here is we'll watch this first trailer, which is called Metal Mutation. While I work on trying to get this going, we'll see how it goes. Yo, that was pretty sick. I'm not even gonna lie, that was kind of clean. Metal Mutation, available now on Steam. Also, I saw this Street Fighter. I thought it was actually a trailer for a new game, but apparently it's not. So, alrighty, come on now. Alrighty, so we'll go back to the beginning here. So yeah, this is Street Fighter 6 official open beta announced trailer. Let's check it out. Oh wow, that looks so interesting. I don't know. I feel like Ryu and Ken is like 137 years old at this point. So but they still look like they're 37, you know? So yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting. But yeah, Street Fighter 6. And this one is called Path of Titans. Okay, that was terrible. We'll do this one, but it's not gonna be for very long. Okay, well, I'll leave it at, well, okay, we'll go a little bit further. Eyeball.
Close your eyes. Go on. Now, I want you to imagine 65 million years ago, a sun rising on a brilliant, vibrant world. A home to many, just about to start their day. From the mountainous cliffs to the distant shorelines, Gondwa roars to life. This planet, long before the shifting tides of the future, houses an ecosystem across generations of land, air, and water. A harmony within and throughout existence. Caution beckons. In the brutal reality of surviving this harsh and untamable world, a reminder to be cautious, lest you fall to the actions of others. All of this has been lovingly recreated for you. Choose who to be. What to do. Where to fly. venture out and discover the mystery of this old world.
Well, that was interesting. Basically it's a land where everything kills you. Basically it's Australia. So Path of Australia. Alrighty, and that is available now. Yeah, available now on PC, consoles, and mobile. So yeah, without further ado, let's actually go ahead and get things started here. We will go ahead and just jump over to this. We have a lot of repeats, obviously, because it's been like 4 days since we did a stream. But what we'll do, let's switch out here. I don't want to do Diablo. Let's do something else. Let's do, well, Genshin is fine, but that's not what I meant to click on. Path of Exile. We haven't done Path of Exile in forever, so we'll do Path of Exile as the background video, and let's get things popping. So this was from Stunning Celis. They were talking about game crashing. Oh, also, pretty soon we'll be able to actually start streaming to TikTok. We'll see how that goes here pretty soon, probably starting maybe tomorrow or the next day. Well, maybe we should be able to have access to start doing that. But this is from Stunning Celeste. Hello, sometime last year I purchased a new PC with a 3070 Ti, a 5900X, 32 gigs of RAM, and a 750 watt PSU. Despite this, my computer still crashes frequently across all titles. I am unsure why it is doing this, as even my old computer, which has terrible specs, has never crashed. And we said, are you still having the issue? Just noticed this was a week ago, but I appreciate the best wishes, bro. What happens if you seat the graphics card into another slot? Does it have the same issue? Have you done anything different since our last conversation? And we told them to keep us posted, and that was a month ago, but they just updated us 15 hours ago, and they said, hello, I know it's been a long time, but I just wanted to say I managed to resolve the issue I had been having with my PC. It turns out that the storage on my PC was faulty. I am unsure whether it was my SSD or HDD, as both have been removed from my system, and I am running on an alternative SSD. Thank you for the support and trying to help me find the problem with my PC. I don't think we really came to a conclusion on this, but this is not a fail because I think the person wasn't able to get back what's coming. This was a month ago. No problem. Glad you were able to get things situated and working again. And let him know we exist. Let me find my OneNote so I can copy my stuff and hit the copy button and then hit the paste. Oop. Of course, I pressed the wrong button. Alrighty, so yeah, we're just gonna call that what it is. That is just gonna be straight up an assist trophy. Thank you, Luca, for the guide. You know, it's kind of hard whenever you have those kind of situations. You really want to troubleshoot, but it's very hard to do so, you know, when they're not replying. You're just essentially talking to yourself. But I am happy they at least let us know. So, you know, and it turned out to be a hard drive issue, but, you know, we probably would have came to that conclusion regardless if we had some more time to work on it. So it is what it is. But I'm glad they were at least able to get that resolved, because that's kind of what we do. We just at least want to make sure that they're okay and everything's good, and they are. So I'm okay with it. All right, let's move on to the next one here. This is from Theo, and he was talking about some audio output issues. Please help. And so need help adjusting my audio settings for my PS3 Slim. Used it for like a decade, but never encountered this problem before. While playing, the music and sound effects are the right volume, but some dialogue does not play at all. And I said, okay, so I take it you're using a headset. So do you have available speakers you can test to see if you get audio output? Be sure to remove the headset when you test. I'm not using a headset. I don't have any available speakers at the moment either. Okay. Let me see. Okay, that's all the comments that we have. Okay. So you are hearing no audio during cutscenes? Are the right volume, but some dialogue does not play at all during cutscenes. Can you be a bit more specific? Which game and section. The reason why I'm asking is because you have to understand this man is not talking about a PlayStation 5 or 4. He's talking about a PlayStation 3 Slim. There's a possibility that the reason why he doesn't get dialogue is because the memory is slow or the hard drive is slow and it's not able to read it properly depending on where he's at in the loading of the game. So it's possible that it may just be that. So, you know, depending on what game it is, it would make sense. Like, for example, if he told me it was a newer game, like he's playing, you know, Call of Duty or something. Well, to be fair, Call of Duty isn't on the PS3. It'll only be on the PS4 and 5. But you know, or he's playing some type of a one of the newer games for that particular PS3. Then, you know, it may be on the lines of the device itself is having an issue, or it's slow, or it's not able to keep up because its memory is dying or has errors or issues. So it can be a couple of different things, but we just need some more information. Okay, so you are hearing no audio during cutscenes. Can you be more specific? Which game and section? Is it always happening consistently in the same places, or is it random? Okay, so yeah, just trying to figure out, you know, if it's random or if it's something that's happening in different locations on this PlayStation. I don't have a 3. I can't remember the last time I had a 3. I think I was in my 20s and in college, so it's been a minute. So I'm not sure, you know, what's going on with the PS3 these days. You know, it's kind of hard for us to kind of get a good idea of that guy. But hold on, let me grab my PS5 controller. Okay, I did reboot my Wi-Fi before we started because it was tripping. It looks like it still is tripping. Ignore. Let me see. Maybe not. I think it's okay now. Okay, yeah, it's okay now. Okay, so that's what it was. It was just not having the best time, which is fine. But let me go ahead and switch to the PlayStation. All right, bet. Just making sure our internet is good here so we can actually click on stuff for any tickets in the future. That's not a good sign. PlayStation Store, and PlayStation Store says no. Yeah, that's not a good sign. Settings, network. I can't tell if I do. Here, let me just do a test. Okay, yeah, it looks like I'm good. Cool. So yeah. Okay, I don't need to check the download speed. I know it's fast enough. Okay, so we at least got our internet back, so that should be good. So we can go ahead and continue. Alrighty, let's go ahead and go to the next one here. Let me clear that out just in case there's anything else, any residuals from our assist from the previous ticket. Ooh, pretty. So my 4.2 liter build beauty shots, K29 5600G, 32 gigs, DDR4, RTX 8000, 12 volt Pico PSU. Pico, so it's super tiny. And A2000, for those of you not aware, the A2000 kind of works like a 3050 Ti. Okay, it's not exactly as powerful as a 3060, but a 3050 Ti is probably respectfully a good graphical speed to give it. So essentially it'll give you 1080p 60 frames per second and generally everything. So yeah, but I mean overall it's a great graphics card, plus it's super tiny and portable. I like its build. It's really nice. You can get a lot done with that. Let's see what other pictures he has. Plus he can take it with him, so hey, I like that it matches his Xbox controller. That's pretty sweet. Like that it matches the controller. I appreciate the taste. Yeah, mine is the same way. Like the Neo 2, I have the AirPods Pro, have the white PlayStation controller, have a white Xbox controller to kind of, so they all match. So like it's like a matching pair. So yeah, I definitely get that. So I do appreciate having stylistic taste when it comes to video game consoles. All right, let's go to the next one here. This is from Xmas, laptop troubles. So he says, my laptop started to have some issues yesterday, and fidgeting around with the charger and brick made it work, but only up to 8 to 14% before it stopped working again. But then after a while, it just stopped charging permanently, and now computer is dead forever. Is there a fix? Yeah, replace the AC adapter with a new one to see if it charges. And he said, yeah, I did that though. I used a USB-C charger. My computer has 2 charging ports. It does not seem to be working. I might have to ask my dad to send it to someone who can fix it or get a new laptop. And I said, yeah, blah, blah, blah. He was already looking to RMA essentially by sending it to his dad. And I let him know, like, hey, you know, if that's what you're going to do, that's what you're going to do. But let him know that we exist. And he said, thanks. I'll make sure to do that in any future computer issues. So, hey, we're just gaining customers. Sounds about right. That's exactly what we're after. Trying to get a nice community that we can help out with their issues and save some people some money. Play Store download problem. It looks like his issue got fixed, and I think we're the only ones talking. So hopefully we had something to do with it. I guess we're about to find out. I don't know if this belongs here, but I accidentally deleted Snapchat from my phone, and now when I try to download it again, the PlayStation Store tells me that Snapchat is not compatible on my device. But it was just 5 minutes ago. My phone is a Samsung Galaxy S25G. I said, well, yeah, if you go to the settings and then go down to your applications, is it still there? Also try to reboot your phone to see if it makes a difference. Also, just for fun, check to see if there is a new update upon reboot. Let us know how that goes. It's not in the settings, and rebooting doesn't change anything, sadly. Okay. Okay. But you set the issue as solved. Did something happen in the interim? Sorry for the late post. Was out of town. I kind of feel bad about these 5-day posts, man. I gotta get better, but you know, I'm glad he was able to fix it. But until we know, we can't really give ourselves any type of award or trophy. We'll see how it goes, though. Hey, I want to do more of these, kind of like just posing questions so I can kind of just rant because I think whenever I start ranting about different issues and things and my opinions about games or technology or where technology is going or games is going, I think it appeals to more people than me just troubleshooting individual technical issues that appeals to some, but not, you know, as big of a crowd as just random, you know, what do you think about Star Wars? You see what I'm saying? So this one here is, why do people seem to feel uniquely upset when Nintendo enforces copyright laws? Why do people not get so upset about other companies? On any given day, at any given time, there's guaranteed to be someone fighting online about Nintendo and their enforcement of copyright laws. Without getting into the weeds about who is right and who is wrong, I like to take a step back from the back and forth and examine why this gets so heated. People don't get nearly as upset when literally any other company does a takedown or enforces their copyright. On the other hand, people get so upset when Nintendo does it that you think that only Nintendo issues takedowns and all other material is free reign for anyone to do as they see fit. Other companies issuing takedowns barely even goes noticed. It doesn't get headlines, and when it does, those headlines don't generate rage like Nintendo ones do. I can explain this. Why Nintendo gets so heated with Nintendo specifically? Is it because Nintendo has so many fans of all ages? Is it because Nintendo is actually uniquely evil to many people? Is it just because we spend so much time in Nintendo fandom circles and we're biased? Is it just coincidence? No, it's not any of that. So I think it's because of this, right? So if you look at a lot of Nintendo's culture, a lot of their video games that have come out over the years, a lot of times those video games are the same price. They don't go down in price ever, okay? So, you know, you have these games, you know, Breath of the Wild and Super Mario Odyssey or Galaxy, Super Mario Odyssey, and you know, Luigi's Mansion, all of these custom titles that are specifically for Nintendo. They never lower their price. They always stay at the exact same price. So you know, all these other, you know, manufacturers and console companies, PlayStation and Xbox, they lower their price depending on how old the game is. You know, they get Game of the Year editions that are like $20, but whenever it first came out, it was like $60, $70. So other manufacturers, they are lowering the prices of games, but Nintendo is not. Coupled with the fact that Nintendo, when they go in and they try to sue or issue takedowns, they go for the jugular. They try to end your entire career. You will never burn another ROM in my presence again. Like they go hardcore. They go hard in the paint. So I think that has a little bit of people frustrated just because of how hardcore Nintendo goes. If you're a content creator, you get demonetized. If you are, you know, trying to watch a ROM or something like that, or trying to play a ROM on a different system, you can go to jail. Like, they can sue you for crazy amounts of money, knowing darn well most people can't afford it, you know? And I think the real rub is Nintendo products. Like, for example, if you look at the 64, you look at the GameCube, you look at the Wii, the Wii U, and the Switch, they have all been weaker consoles compared to the Xbox and the PlayStation. There is literally emulators that smoke the Nintendo Wii U. I mean, just destroy it. And I mean, then you really get to see these games for what they're really capable of being shown for. Like, if you ever seen Breath of the Wild in 4K, oh my God, with like max settings on like a 4080, oh my God, it's beautiful. I wish I played it when it was like that. I played it on the Switch like everybody else. So I think that has a lot to do with it, because I think that the emulators actually make a better console product for the Nintendo games. And so I think a lot of people kind of feel this frustration with Nintendo. It's like, okay, well, if an emulator can beat you at your own game with your own game, then how are you going to sue me because they did it better? You see what I'm saying? And now, of course, you always have to take onus to yourself, because you shouldn't be doing that to begin with. I get that. But at the same time, from their perspective, it's like, okay, I could play it on the Switch and, you know, get 30 frames per second barely, like Pokemon, for example. Oh my God, like Pokemon, for example. Oh my God, Sword and Shield, or whatever the newest one was. I can't remember with the newer Pokemon. I beat that one too. But just Nintendo in general. And speaking of Nintendo, I think we can switch to it. Nintendo, are you alive? It's sleep. Okay, so Nintendo and their new games playing at 30 frames per second, getting frame dips. You know, why would you want to play it that way when you can literally switch it over to an emulator and get 60 frames per second or 120 frames per second in 4K and be able to catch any Pokemon you want? So I think there's a bit of frustration because the consoles that Nintendo creates is getting smoked by emulators. And then when they try to force you to play those consoles with those particular games, it is not fun. It is 30 frames per second, and sometimes it dips into the 15s depending on what game it is, and it's just not fun. It's not meant for open world kind of play, which is where Pokemon, as well as Breath of the Wild, as well as all of these games are going. It's not meant for it. It's not strong enough to actually run these games, and I think that that's where a lot of this frustration and tug of war is coming from. People on one side that are wanting to play at the best graphical settings, but with games they love from Nintendo, and then Nintendo saying, hey, yo, it's still, I don't care what you're trying to do, it's still copyright infringement on our product. And I get both sides, but I understand the concern from both parties. That was fun. See, this is why we do this. I like these kind of conversations because I think I can, you know, kind of speak to both sides of it, because I understand the business side pretty well. And I think that, you know, it's kind of entertaining to talk about. But without further ado, let's go ahead and go to the next one here. That was a lot to talk about. So this is from Deadpool Killer, which is a crazy name, but sure. And oh, also let me do this real quick here. Now that my internet is back up, let me just do real quick here. Let me just make sure this stuff is working. And we're just going to mute this. On second thought, I don't think it is. I don't know what's going on with it. I think it just hates me. Okay, there it is. Okay, there we go. Alrighty, that looks okay, kinda. And then let me do one more thing here. I'm sorry this is taking so long. Just want to take a second. And we should be good to go here. There we go. And let me mute that. Sorry. Okay, and it's muted. Okay, now let's go ahead and go to the next one here. So this is says, oh, well, it's from Deadpool. We'll just call it Deadpool. Xbox Series X not reading any Dark Souls 3 copy. Oh yeah, we talked about this. We gave him the idea of just taking it back to the store, like whatever game store he got it from, and have them test it, saying that, you know, you're wanting to return it. They'll test it before they actually give you a deal on it. Well, is this disc damaged in any way? Also, for a free test, drop this game off at GameStop and say you are thinking of selling it to them. They will test the game for you and let you know if it's faulty. If it's not, then it's a discrete error. If it's faulty, it's the disc. It's not damaged at all. Okay. Okay. Well, if it's not working, I would still say to take it to your local game store and get a second opinion, as mentioned above, to see if they can get it going. If it works on their console, the issue is your console. The issue is your console. If it fails for them too, it's the game, regardless if there are scratches or not. It could just be a faulty game or a cracked disc or a damaged disc on the internals or something along those lines, even though there's no scratches on the disc itself. So it could be something along those lines, but it's hard to say. But the best way to figure it out is just take it to somebody else who has a system that they can test it for you with. If they are also getting the exact same problem, then you know where your issue lies. So Deadpool, keep us posted there. Ooh. Alrighty. This is from Calm Attention, first SFF build. It's cute. Enjoyed building this PC mainly for LAN and emulation. I like the case, but I might refinish it black and make it stealthier. The PSU is quite loud and playing on replacing the fan. Specs is the ASRock Z690 MITX, a 1660, 350 watt PSU, 16 gigs of RAM, 3600 megahertz, as well as a Noctua L9i, which is what all of them are, and a 1 terabyte SSD. You have more pictures than one? Oh. That looks like a computer. Not the prettiest, but I mean, I guess if it gets the job done, it doesn't really matter, right? I mean, yeah, overall, pretty nice little build. Congrats. Congrats, bro. You gotta give credit where credit is due. I mean, it works. And plus it doesn't need a whole lot of power, so there's that. But yeah, I mean, you know, the cables are a little tacky, but you're gonna get that when you're talking about these small flex PSUs. A lot of them are like that. Alrighty, this is from Asikuna, wondering if they have a dead GPU. Today my PC randomly shut off. I opened my case full of dust. Unfortunately, I cleaned it out and I tried turning it back on and it's giving me a Q code of 97. My GPU light is flashing on but staying off after boot. The VGA light is red as well. My PC turns on when the GPU is disconnected and my display port is plugged into the motherboard. Okay. So for this one, I'm not sure I followed. Is your display port really going into the motherboard or is it going into the graphics card? I think you were saying you tried to bypass the GPU by plugging it directly into the motherboard, which is fine. However, the GPU needs to be unhooked from the motherboard for this test to be valid. Also, I would try to update the BIOS and try a different PCIe lane just to be sure. Is that I've tried both GPU and motherboard display and HDMI to the GPU. Neither worked, obviously, and my motherboard only has display-port, which I tried and works when the GPU is unplugged. Crud. Well, it's not looking too good, bro. It sounds more like you're looking at a faulty GPU and to a far lesser extent, faulty PSU cables or faulty PCIe lanes on the motherboard, but it's like 75, 15, 10. So there is an extreme possibility that your GPU is faulty. Sorry about that, bro. Just wanted to update you in case you were curious at all or even remembered you commented LOL. I RMA'd it after reading your comments since I troubleshooted as much as I could at that point. Gigabyte took 35 days to send me a replacement, but they upgraded me from a 3080 Ti to a 4070 Ti since the former is allegedly back order. Net positive, I guess. Yes. Oh my God, are you serious? Besides the month of lacking a GPU, thanks for pushing me to RMA because I probably would have kept needlessly researching and tinkering trying to fix it for days on end. What? What? Give us our W, sir. Oh my goodness. Wow. Wow. That's why we do this. So happy you were able to get this resolved and got a free upgrade out of the deal. Definitely worth it. And yes, we do check back on our tickets and we do this Monday. Oh, there's no point in saying that. Definitely worth it. And just put this in there. So yeah, just let him know that, you know, that we do this and we also have it on YouTube. But I am so happy he got that resolved. That is the most flexes win ever. Oh my goodness, guys, we completely helped this man. We got this man a complete RMA plus an upgrade from a 3080 Ti to a 4070 Ti. I am patting ourselves on the back for that one. I am so happy. Oh my goodness, I'm so happy for him. That is great. I am so happy you were able to get that upgraded and fixed. But yeah, I mean, you know, it definitely sounded like it's just going to be a graphics issue, especially whenever you did the bypass and you were still having problems. The only thing you can really say at that point is that it is going to be the graphics. Now it could be a few other different components, but the graphics seem to have the biggest problem. So, you know, I'm glad that he was able to get that R made and get that upgraded. That worked out so well in his favor. Wow, that is crazy. That is so positive. Good job. I'm so happy for you, Asakuna. That's awesome. What? Watch the next one be an L. Oh, no, it can't be an L. It's a new ticket. I was like, this high cannot last this long. Okay, so this is from Volter. Performance lost after updating drivers. I recently got a PC and quickly started downloading games, and they used to run fine. But one day I downloaded Forza 5 and I started having periodic lag. For those of you who aren't aware, Forza 5 is a very big game. Well, not necessarily huge, but it's a big game. And I tried to look for a solution. I figured maybe updating the video card drivers would fix it. So I did, but now not only did that not fix the problem, it seemed to make it worse. I rolled back to the updated now COD. What was a normally running game is extremely laggy and freezing. I'm not fluent in English, so I already apologize for the mistakes. I have the Forza 5 performance test image, but I can't attach it into the post. Okay. Okay. So he tried to do a driver update, which breaks COD, and that's extremely normal. You have no idea how normal that is. But he was having some problems and some performance issues whenever he updated his drivers. Okay, so what graphics card are we referring to? What kind of CPU do you have? Also, how much memory does your CPU have? Could you list the specs? Really, the only reason why I want to know the rest of the specs outside of those is because I want to see if he has a hard drive, like a hard drive, or if he has like a SSD or an NVMe, because it could be, you know, if it's having some problems towards the beginning of it where it's actually loading into memory, that could be a problem. Or he may not have enough memory to run some of his games because he only has 8 and you really need 16, something along those lines, which is definitely a possibility. So there's a few reasons, but really we can't do much without knowing, you know, what kind of graphics card you currently have. Could you upload a picture of the Forza 5 performance? Okay, so we'll go with that. So maybe he can give us a picture so we can kind of get an idea of what it's saying. But yeah, without knowing the components and the components that you have for your computer, there's no way we can really help with that because we need more information in order for us to move forward. So Vulture, just keep us posted, bro. Alrighty, and group 4 here, and we're gonna start with this Tom Gyroid. I think that's how you say his name. This is a repeat. A lot of them are going to be repeats. In fact, it's been so long. Says certain PS4 controllers won't connect to PC's Bluetooth when another PS4 controller can. So basically, a certain blue PS4 controller I have won't connect to the Bluetooth adapter on my PC. I hold down the PlayStation and share buttons to get it connected as a Bluetooth device on the PC, and it just never appears as one, despite doing so in the past. And before I say I need to update Bluetooth drivers or whatever, another older black PS4 controller, incidentally a broken one, connects just fine to the PC's Bluetooth instantaneously. Oh, I think I know what this is as I'm reading it. I had said, yeah, what happens when you connect the faulty controller directly into the PC with a cable? Does it work with no problems? Also, be sure to update the Bluetooth drivers on your PC. You can do this by going into Windows Update Advanced Options, Optional Update, and seeing if there's an updated Bluetooth driver for you to download for the PC. He said, yes, the driver already updated as checked in Device Manager, especially since, again, it already works with PS4 controllers, just not this one. Okay. Okay. Well, this is what I would do. Okay. Let me explain it before I explain it to him. All right. So this happens a lot with Xbox controllers. I don't use PlayStation controllers as much with computers because of the fact that the Xbox controller feels better. But also, it's kind of a pain to switch it between the PlayStation and the computer. I'd rather just use my Xbox controllers because I have more of them. But in any event, there are situations where when pairing the Xbox controller, it may fail. Or, you just, waking it up from sleep and it's not able to connect to your computer. This happens quite often. I don't care what computer it is. I've had this happen with this computer. I've had it happen with other computers, other Bluetooth devices, other dongles, Microsoft, you name it, Linksys, whatever. I've had it happen. It happens very, very frequently. So because of that, there are a few things that I've done, especially like, for example, in games like Call of Duty, whenever you lose Bluetooth connectivity to your controller, you just continue to run. Like, it doesn't stop and you just die. So it's a very, very big deal because it happens all the time. However, in his case here, what I would say do is go into his Wi-Fi and Bluetooth settings and delete all PlayStation controllers from there and then rescan for them, because there's a possibility that the MAC address is actually still there and he just not realize it. So going back to him, let me show you what I'm talking about first. Let me do it on Windows 11 because I know it has an Xbox controller because I added it over the weekend. Windows 11. All right, cool. So if we go here and we click on Bluetooth, show Bluetooth devices, right? All I'm telling him to do is to go into where he sees, for example, this Xbox controller here and remove it. So any of the PlayStation controllers that he sees, remove all the devices and then go and add the device. And just in case the MAC address is already here. So it may be the fact that he can't add it is because it's already added and he just doesn't realize it. Because what happens is, regardless if you have an Elite controller or a PlayStation 5 Elite controller or PlayStation 3 or whatever controller he's talking about, they all have the same name. So there's no way to really know which one is which. So the best way to fix that is to remove them all and then try to add the device. That may be what's causing his issue, because it adds the Bluetooth device based on the MAC address. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and go back to him and go back here. Okay, well, for this, what I would do is go to your Bluetooth devices and delete all PlayStation, all PlayStation, now I can't spell, and I'm in caps, all PlayStation controllers in your devices list. Make sure none are there anymore, then retry the scan for new device. Let us know if it pairs properly now. So yeah, essentially just delete them all and then go ahead and rescan to see if you're able to actually pick it up. That's what I'm thinking here. I think that he may actually have it and just not realize it because they all say the same thing. The fact that he said there was a controller that's older than this one that works just fine makes me think that he has more than one Bluetooth device that's set up right there, and he doesn't realize that maybe it's already added, therefore it's not working. He needs to try to connect it, but it's better instead of trying to connect it to just go ahead and wipe it and then reconnect it from scratch. Alrighty, Tom, keep us posted. All right, let's go and go to the next one here. All right, this is from Shots. Shots says, Edge doesn't work because of firewall issue. Well, I may have worked a firewall issue or two in my life, or every firewall issue in my life. Everything I look something up, or every time I look something up on Edge, I get a message saying, can't reach the page, google.blah blah blah, askcrin4th.com, refuse to connect. And it says something about checking my network connections. It sounds like he is being redirected. So it sounds as if the actual application has a proxy setting enabled. What happens if you open Edge in private mode? Does the page still display the same error? And then I told him to go into his settings and system performance and computer proxy settings and make sure that's turned off. Yeah, my proxying settings are off and it's been off. I still get the error when I look something up. Even in private mode? Even in private mode? Even in private mode. If so, what is your DNS address when you go here? Start command prompt, right click, run as admin, and then ipconfig /all. So essentially, we want to have him do an IP config and see what his DNS is. His DNS may be pointing to somebody, which means that he may have a malware attack or a man in the middle. Because we are now starting to look at a possibility that they're being malware, because if it's working, if he's having the same problem in incognito mode and it's redirecting him, then it means that his DNS may actually be pointing to somebody else. So because of that, let's go ahead and have him check for malware just to try to protect him from himself. Also, could you download Malwarebytes and do a scan of the system just to be on the safe side? Just to be on the safe side. Yeah, and we'll play it that way just to make sure that, you know, we take care of him. We don't want him, you know, especially, okay, so if the reason why we have to go this route is because if he's saying what I think he's saying, and he's saying that he tried it in private mode, yet he is still having the issue, then that means that something is redirecting him to that location, and in private mode should have not allowed that to happen. So, you know, and it said it only happens whenever he tries to do Google searches. In other words, DNS lookups or just searches in general. So it's a possibility that his DNS may be pointing to that location, which means that if it is, somebody had to set it up. So it's either an application or something malicious on his computer, or it's a program or something along those lines doing it. But it's best to go ahead and check our bases and cover our bases and just say, hey, go ahead and download Malwarebytes. It's free. Do a scan of the system, just to be on the safe side, and then kind of go from there. So yeah, shots, just go ahead and do that and just let us know. We definitely need to know what happens whenever you try it in private mode, because that lets us know if the issue is application based. In other words, apps that are a part of the browser itself, like ad blockers and so on and so forth. Alrighty, wooden wall hanging PC build. Cute. Y'all can't see it all, but I can show you. I mean, I'm not really into clocks, but sure. I mean, it looks pretty cool, especially at night. I would put it in some kind of protection, because I would worry, like, you know, if dust and stuff like that gets into it. But, you know, overall, still pretty sweet, though. Using your computer as a clock. Does it adjust? Oh, I can't even spell adjust. Adjust for daylight savings time. LOL. Dad joke incoming. Does it adjust for daylight savings time? Yeah, I mean, you know, overall, it's kind of it's an interesting build, that's for sure. It's something that most people would never do, and you know, it's kind of new and unique. And I mean, it's pretty sweet, but you know, teach his own, I guess. I'm not really into clocks, so therefore I'm not really into computers. Now I do like watches, but this right here is a little, I don't know, it just doesn't look ideal for me. But you know, congrats to him though. Still pretty sweet. Apples. All right, let's go ahead and go to the next one here. This is from a person called Mad Max. Mad Max says, connection issues with the Xbox One X. My X is connected, but it can't game or stream. Is something on my end. Well, what happens if you connect your Xbox directly to the router with an Ethernet cable? Does it work then? Also, could you do a settings, network test, network speed, and statistics, and let us know the results? I physically can't directly connect my router. Router's in a specific location, and I can't drill holes through my wall. I can't finish multiplayer test. There is an error code. It won't tell me my latency either. Okay. Okay. This doesn't have to be permanent. We just want to test and see if the issue is with the Wi-Fi or the router itself. Can you connect the Xbox directly to the router temporarily bring a TV into that room to see if the speed is working properly? Once we know this, we can move on to the next steps. Yeah, We kind of need to know that. We need to know what happens when you plug directly into the router. I don't care if you can't keep it that way. We only need to have it set up for a few minutes just so you can do some testing and just make sure that that's the problem. Because if you hook it up wired and everything is fine and we're only looking at Wi-Fi, then I will say go ahead and try a reboot of the wireless device, as well as look for upgrades or updates to the actual Wi-Fi. Now, if you hook it up directly and you have the exact same problem with network connectivity, well, your router is now the problem. Now, but generally that would mean that other devices are also having a problem. So there is a lot more to take into that, but I don't want to go too far and go down a rabbit hole when we don't need to. And it may turn out to be, you know, like a different gopher hole. I don't know, but but it can be more than one answer. So it's better just to go ahead and ask and stop there. All right, let's go and go to the next one here. This is from Process. We'll just say that. YouTube on PlayStation. Okay, this is another opinionated pieces. Has anyone else had this problem? It has just started happening. YouTube on my PS5 is working. I can watch videos and search things, but when I'm on the homepage, instead of showing me recommended videos or videos from people I'm subscribed to, it only shows 4 categories: YouTube, movies, news, primetime, and movies, and listen to again before it tells you to scroll back to the top. This is really annoying because I have to search up any YouTubers I like instead of having it on the homepage like it used to. Please help. Sure, what happens if you log out of your account in YouTube and log back in? Does this work? If it doesn't, then uninstall YouTube and reinstall it. It seems to have fixed itself over time, but if it happens again, I'll try it. No problem, bro. Keep us posted and let them know. Oops, sorry. Trash can. Paste is plain text. What would we call this? It's not an L. It just fixed itself, so we'll just call it another assist trophy. Thank you, Luca, for the new dime, even though Porzingis is no longer on your team. So we'll go ahead and go to the next one here. Alrighty, so this is gonna be the last group for today. Gonna stop a little early today. I have to get some sleep because driving 16 hours is no joke. This is from Q Seeker. What is your current last game? Okay, cool. So another one of these really cool discussions. I'm starting to like these. We may do more of these and have some of them in there just so I can give better opinionated pieces that other people can relate to. What is your current last game? Hypothetical scenario. You're in the last days of your life. You're on your deathbed. You have enough time to complete one game as you prepare for the end. No cheating, nothing that is infinite that you can play to stay alive forever. You're gonna die, but you're gonna go enjoying a game you love before that. Doesn't have to be Nintendo related. What game do you choose to play? Ooh, that's a good question. If I was on my deathbed, what game would I want to play? And it'd be the last game of my life. The last game of my life. Okay. This is interesting, right? So somebody may say From Software, right? So it'd be like, oh yeah, Sekiro, or you know, Dark Souls, or Demon Souls, and something like that. I don't want to play those games because those games may give somebody the wrong impression. I may go to a different place. I may go south instead of north. I just put it that way. I may go in the wrong direction. I don't want that to be my lasting impression. You know what I mean? So if me personally, I would like to go out laughing or happy, or doing something that is very fun and entertaining and having a good time. I want to go out the way I came in. You know what I'm saying? Happy, helping people. That's who I am. So if I go out that way, so be it. So for me, if I had to choose a game to probably go out on, it would probably be Pokemon Blue at the end once you catch Mewtwo. I think that would complete my life. You know what I mean? So you know, that was kind of like one of those main games that I played when I was a kid that I just loved and enjoyed. And I was so happy when I caught Mewtwo until he got his ass kicked by the Mewtwo in Pokemon Stadium. And I think it'll be full circle if that ends up being the last game I play. Because, you know, I loved Magmar. Blue has Magmar. Magmar isn't on Red. And Magmar was one of my favorite Pokemon. And I would probably take him and maybe Squirtle, which would be a Blastoise at that particular point in time, and maybe a Raichu or a Jolteon. Probably a Jolteon. Let's be honest. We're not gonna pick We're not gonna pick Raichu over Jolteon. We have more sense than that. Somebody has a Dragonite. So So we'll pick we'll pick Jolteon and and Articuno and kind of go in, maybe Zapdos, those kind of things. And I think that would be kind of fun, and that would be a really cool ending, and going after Mewtwo, the very last Pokemon, and let that be the end of it. I don't know why I would pick Pokemon, but I mean, you think about a lot of these other games like Devil May Cry's, or anything from Software, or Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, any type of Legend of Zelda games. I mean, those are all cool, but I'm not the type of person that likes to replay games. I don't replay games at all, unless there is some type of a nostalgic feeling to them. You know what I mean? So if I have some type of a sentimental value to it, like Pokemon Blue, I like Pokemon Blue so much, I ended up getting into Pokemon cards, and I still have them. I still have a I don't know if it's not a first edition, but I do have a Charizard, like one of the older Charizards from way back when, as well as like a Blastoise and an Alakazam first edition. So I have a few older Pokemon cards that I used to trade, and I remember trading and getting that Charizard, and trading and getting that Blastoise and that Alakazam, and it was good memories. I used to play the Pokemon card game with my cousin when we were kids, so it was a good memory for me. Username, hey, what's your opinion on buying an Xbox One, even though you have a tank of a gaming PC? I just thought it would be cool for the console experience, I guess. Xbox One. You mean this right here? Oh, welcome to the channel. So we have every console. We have every single console. We even have Steam Deck. So we have every console, but we have them to troubleshoot other people with those issues. Now, if you're asking just me, my opinion of buying an Xbox One, even though you have a PC, okay, for the longest time, did we finish that last question? Yeah, we did finish that last question. Pokemon Blue is my answer. But for the longest time, I personally never bought an Xbox, okay? And the reason why, sorry, this camera, and the reason why I never bought the Xbox was simply because there was no point. Until Microsoft creates games that are exclusive to Xbox, there's really no point when you have a PC that's stronger. However, if you travel, then it becomes a little bit more useful because you can take the Xbox with you because it's not really all that big. Now, unfortunately, if anybody knows me, I am very much so into SFX PCs. Like, it's my thing. Like, I have like 10 cases. Like, I'm really into that. So if you create smaller computers, then there's no real need for an Xbox at all, right? So I think that for people who have bigger computers, full-size cases, and they can't tote them around, Xboxes can prove quite useful because you can use that as a gaming device. However, I should also warn you that the ROG Ally is $699 by default. So whenever it comes out, the lowest version of the ROG Ally, which is, I can show you, Edge. It basically is kind of like the Aya Neo we were just talking about earlier in the telecast, but the ROG Ally is slated to be around $699, and the Xbox One X is around $499-ish. I would actually get the ROG Ally, even though the Xbox may have a little bit better graphics, but this is way more portable. So now you can have a desktop, and when you travel, take this guy and put this guy in your backpack so that you can play any game that you want to, and now you can have a MacBook. Now you're not limited to, just Microsoft. You can have a MacBook if you really like MacBooks. You can bring your iPad, whatever you need for a computer, and then just use this for everything else. Now, to be fair, this is also a computer. It is a full operating system, just like the Aya Neo 2 is, which is right next to me. Just like the Aya Neo 2 is. They're both full-size computers. So you can use this as your main computer if you want to, but I think that this has a little bit more longevity as a portable console. So to answer your question, there is the element of portability that you gain with the Xbox. However, it loses that one upside whenever you think about the ROG Ally or you think about SFX PCs, because both of them will stomp it. So between whichever one you choose, this right here, because it's so portable, even though it loses a little bit of graphical horsepower, I'll take that loss of graphical horsepower if it means I get that level of portability. Or SFX will just stomp it just because I can build the exact same size computer and it'd be way stronger with like a 3090 and just stomp it in the ground. You see what I'm saying? So, but at the same time, it won't be at that price point. You see what I'm saying? So it does have some type of positives to it, but it really kind of depends on what you're after. If you travel a lot, then it may prove useful to actually have an Xbox, and you don't want to buy something like a ROG Ally or an Aya Neo 2, then yeah, I would definitely see that being something that you would want to do. But if not, then there really is no point, because it's easier and cheaper to just upgrade your computer. So yeah, Xbox has always been like that though. They've always cannibalized their own product until they create like for example, Gears of War. Gears of War would have been better if it was just Xbox exclusive, and that made people to buy the Xbox, you know what I mean? But because you can buy it on Microsoft, then there's no real point, because I'd rather play it with the better graphics, you know what I mean? So I don't know. I think Xbox is always going to be playing second fiddle to PlayStation, because PlayStation has exclusives. Until Xbox gets true Xbox exclusive, it will always be second, because everybody can just buy a computer. So, you know, on top of that, now they have computers that travel with you that are smaller than the Xbox. Why on earth would I take it with me when I can just take this and then get Steam or have connectivity to my Xbox and use remote play? You see what I'm saying? So it's just, I don't know. I think that the gaming market is kind of getting away from Xbox, because it's getting smaller and more portable with full-size operating systems. And now without exclusive, it really doesn't have a leg to stand on. If I can build a computer the same size, or I can go and get a portable console for $699 and you know, pay an extra $200, but get something even more portable, then I'm just going to do that. So yeah, interesting question. Thanks for the question, username. Alrighty, so answer him on this question here. Pokemon Blue. So much nostalgia with that game, and my favorite Pokemons are Magmar and Mewtwo, and can't even spell it, Mewtwo, and let the N be when I catch him in a Master Ball. That would be a good way to go out. Gotta respect it. That's a good way to go out, man. Just chilling on your bed, playing Pokemon Blue for the last time. I think that's a good way to go out. You know, instead of like Diablo on your deathbed. I know where you're going. So you know, I'd rather play something that's a little bit more peaceful and holy, man. I'm trying to repent. I'm not trying to be marked for the wrong direction. Let's put it that way. So yeah, I definitely wouldn't be playing Diablo, that's for sure. I would go with like Pokemon Blue or something peaceful. You could throw Final Fantasy VII in there, because you could probably play it a little bit longer. But yeah, Pokemon Blue. All right, let's go ahead and go to the next one here. So this is from DVM 28BP. Touchscreen monitor priority issue. This is a repeat. Oh, okay. So he solved it, but let's just go what he was talking about. I have an Asus monitor with no touch, and I bought an ING Cool touchscreen for a project to use as a secondary screen for Spotify, and the touchscreen easily changes songs. Okay, the problem is, so essentially, like, you know, when you want to go and you want to press play, you have to basically click the window and then press play. So just imagine that. Here, I can show you. So if we have, let me mute my right here, right? So this is a touch screen, right? So let's say if I want to play a song and we were just on a browser, I would have to click this window to make it primary and then press play. That's what he's talking about. He just wants to essentially press this button and then it automatically starts playing. But what I was trying to tell him, that all he needs for that is media keys. Like on your keyboard, these keys that are right there, that will control his media regardless of where it's at. So really all he needs is that on his keyboard. He doesn't have to use his second monitor for that. So that's usually how most people get around that. That's what I do. So that's what I explained to him on our response there. And he said, let me put it this way. Do you have a keyboard in your car? Because it's a dash of a car with a simulator steering wheel, not a desk piece. Totally different location from my keyboard. Still, what you suggest likely won't work since touch only works on main display. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It 100% doesn't. Only works on main display. The touchscreen I can't set to main display like it wants because it breaks my monitor resolution on screen I use to drive the main monitor. I used to drive wouldn't work to just duplicate because the game window should always be on top. So have touchscreen as monitor 2 with Spotify application on screen 2 as the intended setup. Okay, so he's saying that if the game is primary on monitor 1 and Spotify is on monitor 2, it won't work. I don't know if that's the case. I've always gotten it to work. Now it could be the keyboards that I use that can definitely be an issue there, but I mean, I've never had a problem with it. I mean, every time I hit play, it plays the right thing. Because the reason I say that is because the media controls is play. Play is not a button on most games. So it automatically goes to whichever application is open, which is generally Spotify or YouTube. Now, if you have YouTube open, then yes, YouTube may take precedence over Spotify. But if YouTube is closed and any type of video player is closed and the only one that's available is Spotify, and that's the last one you clicked on before you opened the game, then it should play Spotify. But he said he got it solved. Pretty much go into pin and touch calibration, press setup. It asks you for a correct screen. If not, press enter until the text is on the touch screen and there. Okay, so he went into the settings of his touch screen. Okay, well, sounds like you were able to get that set up. Happy to hear it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not about to sit here. He already got it fixed and it was 5 days ago. So, I mean, we'll take our L. Is it an L? Yeah, let's go ahead and give it an L. Let's be correct here. I don't know if I need the teddy bear and everything to wipe my boo-boo, but, you know, I don't know if you really want to call it an L. It's somewhat of an L, but, you know, it's really not understanding the full details of what he was trying to do and trying to get a good understanding. But even now, I still don't really have a good understanding because, you know, different touchscreens do different things. But I still believe what I said was true, that you could just use the media keys because that's what I've always done. But, you know, whatever. Agree to disagree. Let me press pause. Take it back. Audio is up, so y'all should hear it. But I didn't hear anything. Let me turn this on real quick. Okay, so let's switch back to Edge here and let me hear it. What glitch? He's talking about this right here? Doesn't really seem like that big a deal, but sure. So the problem is today, oh, he said hello, by the way, in case anybody wanted to say hi back. So he said, so the problem is today I started to see some weird visual glitches while playing. First, they started to appear during gameplay, but disappeared after I restarted the console. However, after some 10-15 minutes, I started to notice them again during cutscenes. Sadly, I was able to catch it only for 1 second of the video, but basically it looks like a fireworks of a different color: green, red, blue, purple, pink, blah, blah, blah. I've tested some other games and some different sort of glitch pops up in Red Dead Redemption 2. I couldn't record it, sorry. In Hogwarts Legacy, it seemed to be fine, but I just ran around for a few minutes. So what could that be? Faulty HDMI, in-game bug, dying GPU. I'm still within warranty, so I'm thinking about sending my console to Microsoft, but maybe you have some easier solutions. Thank you all in advance. Okay, so he has the Xbox Series X. So I would try a different HDMI cable, as well as setting resolution to 1080p 60 FPS. If you still see the issue, then it's safer to RMA, as the problem could be with faulty memory. Yeah, because, okay, if you replace the HDMI cable and you lower it to 1080p 60 frames per second and you still get that tiling that you're seeing there, then there's a possibility that it's either graphics card or memory, in which case, both cases, it'll be RMA. So I would just go ahead and proceed with the RMA in the event that the HDMI cable and the 1080p 60 frames per second resolution drop does not fix it. All right, and let's go ahead and go to the next one there. Let me see, make sure that's something that I need to show anyone. Nah, I think we're good. He said just swap the HDMI cable, so there's no real point. All right, so this is from Honey Badger. This is a repeat. game keeps crashing and PC slows down afterwards. So my PC has started to behave strangely. It all started with Wallpaper Engine not booting up correctly due to it not recognizing my 2 monitors correctly. A quick restart of Wallpaper Engine fixed that. Mine does the same thing. Next, I wanted to play Fallout 76, the game. Oh, let me actually do something real quick before I forget, because if not, it's gonna stay that way, which is here and here. Okay. The game kept crashing either during loading screens or when it loaded in terrain. Simultaneously, Opera GX said page ran out of memory. I shut down and restarted the PC. Nothing. I figured it was a bad patch on Bethesda's side, so I jumped over to Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, which is horrible. This game also kept crashing because it sounds like you have a memory issue. Well, the fact that you are running 16 gigs of RAM could be a bit of a problem, and explain why you are running out of memory. Shouldn't 16 be enough, and why now? It worked perfectly before. Because as games get bigger, they consume more memory, which can be a problem. Also, the memory could be faulty. This is hardware. Okay. Do you have any overclocks on the RAM? If so, remove it and see if it makes a difference. Also, what is your memory utilization? Actually, you know, I was gonna say what's your memory utilization, but if it crashes, you won't be able to see its memory utilization because it crashed. So, but yeah, I would just go ahead and try to make sure that the RAM is not overclocked to see if it makes a difference. But yeah, it sounds like his 16 gigs of RAM may be not enough for what all he's doing. So that may be where he's actually having the problem there. But yeah, it sounds straight up like memory or graphics. We can also tell him to go into Event Viewer just to see if that's the issue as well. So let me go ahead and just copy paste that in there so that he is aware. Let's just copy here. Also, start Event Viewer, Windows Lot, blah, blah, blah. Here you can search for the timestamp of the issue occurred and look for critical errors. When you do this, what do you see? If anybody wants to know what I'm talking about, it is, we say it so often that I just kind of skip it. But essentially, we're talking about just going to Event Viewer and then going to our Windows logs and system. And essentially, we're just looking for critical errors during the time he had the problem. So basically, we're just going down here and we keep going until we see, you know, critical. Okay, that's just error, but you get the idea. So you just kind of just go down until you see critical for the timestamp of when he had the problem, and maybe it'll point us in the right direction. It's possible he may have just had a graphics issue. Alrighty, so let's go back to our compatriot there. Okay, we'll go with that and we'll leave it there. And let's see exactly what happens after that. But yeah, it sounds like he may just be having a straight up memory issue or a graphical memory issue, but it sounds like a memory issue. Alrighty, and the last one for today, Xbox One power button won't work. Original model Xbox One power button no longer functions, and now I have to use a controller, and it no longer makes a noise when powering on or off. And we say, well, is it under warranty? If it's not, then I leave it alone. Lost sound is not really a big enough issue to risk it, as the issue could be as short. Do you think a decade-old console will be under warranty? Well, I said that because this decade-old console just recently stopped being sold in stores, so was just being cautious. Is it affecting your gameplay in any way? No, I'm just worried it may be on its last legs, and given my current situation, it may be some time before I can replace it. Then leave it alone. Then leave it alone, bro. It's not worth it, and enjoy your time together. It's not worth it, and enjoy. I'm not gonna put our information there because his questions were not really technical. It was more so just kind of like, should I let it go? And so yeah, there's no point. Just, yeah, there's nothing we can do on that one there, you know. I mean, you could tell him to go ahead and try to unplug it to see if he can get his sound back, but it's such a small issue and a very, very big price to pay if it doesn't work. So I just would rather not. There's no point. Just leave it plugged in, you know. Now, if it dies eventually, it dies eventually, but if he can't replace it right now, then don't mess with it. Why would you try to mess with something when you can't fix it? That's like, A lot of people do that, you know, when you start, like, especially when you're younger and, you know, you start messing with something that you can't replace. You know, if you can't replace it, then why mess with it? If it's working, then leave it alone. Like, why would you try to break something that doesn't need to be fixed? You know, that's a very, those are bars right there. Why would you try to break something that doesn't need to be fixed? That is bars, son. So yeah, it's just, why? You know, it's such a small issue and with a very, very large price. If it's a short, it's over, man. Just leave it alone. It's okay. Just, you know, if it don't have a sound, it don't have a sound. At least it has a sound in the game. So, you know, why would you worry about it? But we'll just go ahead and call it at that one there. And that's going to do it for today's episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. And if you like this video, go to like button. If you really like it, go to subscribe. I love you either way. Take care. All the best. And bye. I will see you tomorrow with a full episode. I am terribly sorry, but I have been driving for 16 hours and I have had enough. You guys have a good one and peace.